Nothing here after all. Huh?
Want to have your clip featured in the Skyrim Clip of the Week? Simply record the clip on your Xbox and then send it to me via message. My gamertag is iRyeni, that's IRYENI, and then you can message it to me over Xbox and I'll be able to view it. I look forward to seeing the clips that you guys send me. Now moving on to the video. Hey, what's up guys, it's Ryan and welcome back to another episode of Modded Monday. We're on week number 163 now guys. I've picked out 5 new mods for you guys to check out and perhaps add them to your load order if you find them interesting. So let's just jump straight into it. Starting off at our number 5 spot we have the Apple Trees in Skyrim mod. This is a very simple mod that adds apple trees with Havoc apples. This means that you can shoot them down. The following locations that are affected by this mod is the Chillfurrow Farm, Battleborn Farm, Corpselight Farm, and several other farms and locations scattered throughout Skyrim. I thought this mod was very simple yet also very interesting because I've never seen a mod like this, and it gives me other ideas for mods that could be in the future, such as mods that allow you to break branches off of trees and maybe craft weapons with it. I'm not trying to get all Minecraft on you guys, but I think that would be a really interesting idea to be able to actually live in the forest and actually have that survival aspect, because I always have you guys comment down below about survival mods and stuff like that, and survival's never really been my cup of tea whenever it comes to playing Skyrim, but I can definitely see the novelty in going out and collecting branches off of trees, you know, crafting stuff off of that way, and you know, starting from the ground up in a sense. And this Apple Trees in Skyrim mod is definitely a mod that brings that idea to life and actually makes it so you can pick these apples off of trees. Well, not necessarily pick. To pick you actually have to jump up and grab it, but you can actually shoot them off with your bow and arrow as well, which I think is a really cool aspect. And I'm not necessarily saying that you have to go out and pick all these apples in order to survive in survival mode or anything like that, but just the fact that it doesn't just bring more trees into the game, it actually gives a use for these trees as well, which I think would be a great idea for other mods in the future to take an example from this. You know, if they add trees into the game, let's make it so you can crack some bark off of some trees, at least give some of these trees some uses instead of just only being used for decoration. I'm always looking for mods that bring more realism into the game and give you more things to do, and Apple Trees in Skyrim is definitely something that brings that into the game, but nonetheless I thought it was a very cool mod and it definitely deserves its place at our number 5 spot. So I'd recommend downloading the Apple Trees in Skyrim mod and giving this mod a try for yourself. Coming in at our number 4 spot we have the Maison Nouveau mod. Now this is a cozy home in Whiterun behind Belethor's store that features a number of conveniences. The mod page reads that there's an enchanting table in the attic and bedroom, and the lower basement features an alchemist workbench, cooking stand, armor workbench, and tanning rack, as well as a sharpening wheel, a forge, and a smelter to provide a one-stop destination for your crafting needs. Storage for each type of armor and weapon are located in the attic, and several bookcases on the ground floor. There's also a weapon rack and cupboard in the upper basement, and labeled food, potion, ingredient, and crafting material storage containers. There's also archery targets at 18 and 25 meters from a marked shooting position, as well as a moving target, to provide you with a controlled environment to practice the bow. I think this is a perfect house mod for people who like to stay in Whiterun, because Breeze Home just gets old after a while. If you've been playing this game for a while like me, you definitely know that Breeze Home is just the ultimate house that you can just do anything with, and you can also install a lot of mods that upgrade the Breeze Home, but no one actually ever builds another house inside of Whiterun itself. You always see other house mods just go on the outskirts of Whiterun or go towards Riverwood. You never actually see someone place a house right in the middle of Whiterun, and I really like how it's different like that. It's also in a very nice location and compatible with other mods that alter Whiterun, because I have tons of mods that alter Whiterun in this playthrough, and this house mod just fits perfectly. The only thing that I change about it is maybe make it so it's not free and you can purchase it from the steward. Maybe you'd have to progress in the storyline just a little bit until the Jarl gives you permission to purchase property in the city, and then you can choose between Breeze Home and Maison Nouveau. I think that would be a perfect addition to really fit this into Whiterun. But other than that, I think this is a perfect house mod for anyone who wants to settle down in Whiterun and start a family, and that's definitely why this mod's featured here at our number 4 spot, so I'd strongly recommend downloading the Maison Nouveau player home mod. Coming in at our number 3 spot, we have the WatchTowers Reborn. Now the mod page reads that the bandits have organized and taken over 27 watchtowers along the Sea of Ghosts coast from Solitude to the east of Skyrim. Within the civil war raging, soldiers cannot be spread to reclaim them, and it's up to you to make the difference. Over 100 hours from the SOT team have been poured into this mod. It was meant to be a simple patch and ended up growing into a full mod. Each of these 27 towers will be populated by Genesis bandits, which leads me right into the mod that's required for this to work, which is the Genesis Unleashed 2.1 mod. I'll have both featured in the description so you guys can click the links and download them together, but the Genesis Unleashed 2.1 mod is pretty much an NPC leveler, so that anytime you go into a dungeon, it'll decide what type of enemies are in there, instead of it just being the same every time. These NPCs are intelligently chosen to ensure that you have a unique adventure every time you play a new dungeon. So you'll have to load the Genesis Unleashed 2.1 mod above the WatchTowers Reborn mod in order for these to work together, but back to the WatchTowers Reborn mod, each tower has a treasure chest that may or may not be present because bandits tend to move around their treasure from time to time. There's also a good chance of additional stolen loot in towers, though usually heavily protected by bandits and traps. There's tons of clutter and new treasures added by this mod as well, and pirates will even arrive to reinforce the bandits after you kill them. There's a hidden arrangement to help each other whenever attacked, and this is how they were able to take over the tower so swiftly. So with 27 new watchtowers placed along the coast of the Sea of Ghosts, you have plenty of new areas to explore and new treasure to loot, and new enemies to kill as well. There's definitely strength in numbers, and with these 27 towers all being populated by these bandits, it's only a matter of time before the bandits take over. Will you make the difference and clear them out? These mods add so much more for you to do in the game, and that's definitely why it comes in at our number 3 spot, so I'd strongly recommend downloading the WatchTowers Reborn mod. Coming in at our number 4 spot, we have the Immersive Speechcraft mod. Now this mod adds several dialogue options to most of Skyrim's NPCs, even ones initially without any dialogue options, allowing for more immersive interactions and roleplay. It's also compatible with every other dialogue overhaul and commentary mod such as RDO, GDO, and FCOSE, and the intent of Immersive Speechcraft is to add more value to the speech skill and provide the player with the ability to interact with NPCs in interesting ways, which is something that Skyrim always lacked. You know, you always walk up to an NPC and you click on them and they just say, "Need something?" or "Good morning," and stuff like that, and you don't actually get to talk to them. But this makes it so you can pretty much talk to any NPC in the game. And based on your character's speech skill, you might be able to convince the NPC to follow you for a bit, barter, or even help you in combat. Maybe you're poor and need a few coins, perhaps you need to rob some travelers on the roadside, or maybe you need a favor done by someone else. Perhaps you're the sneaky type who enjoys manipulating their victim to an early demise, and maybe you'd just like to talk to them about the weather. These things can now be accomplished. The features of this mod include a follow option, which allows NPCs to follow you based on your speech skill. You have a barter option, which initiates trade, a command option, which allows NPCs to allow you to issue commands to them for a short time. You can gift items to NPCs now, you can beg for gold. You can trick NPCs now, which will cause them to stop what they're doing. You can also fight them, which will force them to attack you. You can comment about the weather, and you can even mug them now. So I suppose being a bandit in Skyrim is possible now that you can mug someone on the streets. All in all, I think this mod gives meaning to the speech skill now and actually makes it so it's a valuable skill to have late game. And that's definitely why the Immersive Speechcraft mod is going to be staying on my load order from now on, and I'd recommend downloading it and giving it a try for yourself. Coming in at our number 1 spot, we have Triumvirate, Mage Archetypes. This is a mod that adds new spells for 5 Mage Archetypes, which is the Druid, Shadow Mage, Warlock, Cleric, and Shaman. There's 15 spells per archetype for a total of 75 new spells. These spells are also available immersively through appropriate vendors, and they're consistent, high-quality implementation and visuals. There's no clutter or feature bloat, meaning archetypes that you don't want to use can easily be ignored, and you can replace major spell packs with this mod, as it's much more focused. It adds more staves and many other spells into the game, and it's lightweight in scripts, meaning there's no save bloat. Now, of course, it would be impossible for me to cover all 75 spells that this mod adds, so I'm just going to be reading the ones that they listed on the site. I'll also show some gameplay of my favorite ones that I found throughout my testing, and some of these spells include Druid, which is the Call Raven spell, which allows you to concentrate to summon a raven, and it blinds living targets, reducing their weapon skills by 40 points. And then you have another Druid spell, which is the Bramble Growth spell, and it summons a bed of brambles that deal 10 bleed and poison damage for 15 seconds. And on death, it sprouts a good berry. Now for the Shadow Mage archetype, you have the Shadow Dance spell, which allows you to perform a 20-foot dash for 10 magicka by jumping. And if the path is clear, it lasts 60 seconds. And then also for the Shadow Mage, you have Nightblade, which makes you able to melee attack from up to 50 feet to perform a dash attack, converting 50% of your magicka into bonus magic damage on hit. You also have the Warlock archetype, which allows you to conjure a Ravager, which summons a Ravager for 60 seconds, and if a spirit is offered, it gains an 8 point per second vampiric cloak. You can also cast the Iron Maiden spell as a Warlock, which makes makes creatures and people cursed for 30 seconds, and deals 25 damage every time they send an attack or cast a spell. Now for the Cleric archetype, you have the Aura of Might, which allows the caster and living or undead allies to deal 40% more attack damage, and you can release for 20 fire and sun damage bursts. And last but not least, you have the Shaman archetype, which allows you to create a water totem for 60 seconds that heals 5 points of health and magicka per second and cures disease. You also have the Spirit Storm, which summons a Spirit Swarm that drains 60 points of magicka and stamina per second, and when both are depleted, it drains health instead. Now where to actually get these spells is just like the vanilla spell tomes, they can just be purchased by the appropriate vendors, up to your skill level in the school. So with 75 new spells added into the game, I do feel as though this is one of the best overhauls whenever it comes to these spells, not only because it just adds so many into the game, but they're also very clean looking as well. You know, a lot of other spell overhauls don't really add animations to the spells, they just kind of reskin old ones, but this looks brand new and allows you to choose your archetype and have different spells throughout what type of character you are, and I really like that in a Mage playthrough because there's so many different types of magic. So that's definitely why this mod comes in at our number 1 spot, so I'd strongly recommend downloading the Triumvirate Mage Archetypes mod. So that's pretty much it for this week's episode of the top 5 Skyrim mods of the week. Hopefully you guys did enjoy, and if you did, I'd appreciate it if you left a like and subscribe if you're new. It really helps me out a lot. And if you have any suggestions for mods you'd like me to cover in future top 5 mod episodes, be sure to let me know in the comment section below, or you can follow me on Twitter. I'll be sure to leave my Twitter in the description, and you guys can follow me on there and leave me suggestions to there as well. Special shout out to my Patreon supporters. Thank you guys so much for everything that you guys have done for me. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Hopefully you guys did enjoy, and I will talk to you guys later.